awesome is it to be back here at DDD? A massive shout out to everyone who brought this here together. DDD is a community event and these legendary companies enable us to be here today. Be sure to get around to their booths and have a chat with them. Make sure you get your stamp and be in the running for those fabulous prizes. All right, now I'm standing between you and lunch, so let's get going. This is going to be a whirlwind talk because I put way too much content into this. However, there will be a workbook at the end, which will have all of the templates that I talk about and a bit of a guide as well. So if you miss a slide along the way, don't panic. My name is Susan. I wear a lot of hats. I'm an engineering leader, a passionate technologist, a startup founder, a community organizer, and a mentor. And at my core, I believe technology builds the future. And the people here in this room are building that technology and building the future. And I'm here today because I want each and every one of you to be the very best that you can be. And today we're going to cover what is continuous improvement and what it could look like in your day-to-day life. Then how harnessing it can improve your career trajectory and your enjoyment of that career. And also how to get support within your organization. And lastly, with all this good work, how it supercharges your career when it's visible to others. We all want to make an impact in our career. All right, let's turn your career progression from something that happens to you to something that you make happen. All right, super quick audience participation time. I can kind of see you in the shadows. Who does goal setting? Could be annual, performance, OKRs. All right, that's nice, that's a good number. All right, so how does goal setting fit into the practice of continuous improvement? For a lot of people, it is the only thing that's in their personal development clouds, or at least the only thing that they are intentionally doing in their personal development. But really, it should just be one part. There are so many tools, frameworks, and practices that you will use in your professional development life, and different ones are useful at different stages of your career growth. This is not a one-size-fits-all for all times. And I want to give you here today a way to make sense of this, and so that you can have a framework that helps you build your best self, being intentional in your actions, drive your growth, your career, and your development. Wow, that was a lot. I got tired just looking at it. Please don't be daunted. This is the journey of your working lifetime, not an activity for a single day. However, today, here together, we are going to get started and we're going to craft the continuous improvement habit to build our better professional selves. Now, to be clear, you aren't expected to go from zero to hero in one step. It is a massive step. And not everyone in this room actually knows what the hero version of themselves even looks like. But we all know what to do when we have a big problem. We break it down. And we start with a single small step. And well, we're going to figure out what that initial small step is here, and we're going to take it together. So if we know we aren't going to be a hero in a single step, how do we get there? Incremental improvement. You might almost say continuous incremental improvement. This might be simple, and you all in the room already know it, but we often forget it. But this is the bedrock of our personal growth. It is the agile practices that your team has. It is experimentation. It is mindful and deliberate action, and it's consistency. Without something that is anchoring you to a regular observance and reflection on your actions, it can be so hard to stick to the best laid plans and to be effective, to keep doing the things that work and to discard the things that aren't. It might be simple, but if there is one thing that you take away from this today, is not just knowing it, but doing it. Not for your company to meet some annual goal tick box activity, but for yourself. All right, pull out your phones. I know you all have them with you. Book a spot in your calendar. This is for you. If your team does regular retros, book it in right before your retro. If your team doesn't do retros or you don't have a team, you know what, book it in for next Friday. Honestly, the when is not important. It is actually setting it up, doing it, and showing up. Call it your continuous improvement check-in. It is 15 minutes only. Trust me, you can find 15 minutes within the next 2 weeks to spend time on the most important thing, you, Your growth, your development, your excellence. You matter and you deserve this. All right, we've set aside 15 minutes with ourselves. What are we going to spend them on? 15 minutes is really quick time when you are staring at a blank page while you ponder what you're going to write down. So instead, you're going to add these 5 questions to your calendar invite. Take a picture. Don't panic. These are in the workbook at the end. So you have 15 minutes. That is intentionally short. Don't overthink this, especially at the start. You are just gathering data points. You're experimenting. You're refining it. This is not a one and done activity. This is about doing it regularly, consistently, continuing to refine, reflect. Fortnightly is a great cadence. Start there and adjust. Personally, I do this weekly. Okay, we have a plan. How do we make it successful? I could give you a dozen reasons why people fall over at this first hurdle. And trust me, while this sounds simple, it's not always easy. But this is your foundation. Keep at it until you nail it. And keep at it after that. One of the biggest things I see is skipping. Life happens, I get that. There is nothing wrong with skipping occasionally. But these check-ins are there to catch yourself. If it finds that you're skipping it all of the time, adjust it. Find the way that works for you. Make it easy for yourself to succeed. Keep experimenting. If calendars don't work for you, send yourself an automatic email. Set a Slack reminder. Figure out if you don't have 15 minutes in your workday because you're slammed with meetings, do it on the train on the way home. If you're a digital person, find a place to store it. If you're a physical person, make sure it's a notebook. But find a way that works for you and keep adjusting until you succeed. Perfectionism. This is the curse of many people within this room. And we aren't aiming to be perfect here. We are aiming for enough. Do a half-assed job if the alternative is doing nothing. Can't do 15 minutes? Do 5. 5 questions too many? Start with 1. Keep bedding it in, especially at the start. Small, consistent, tiny steps on your path. The other thing I see people skipping because they're struggling. They're avoiding reflection because they're unhappy with what they're doing. My peeps, I feel you. These are data points there to help you. They aren't judgments. These matter most when you are struggling. And if they are yours, there to be curious about. And to explore and to find a way. If this is you, if you are struggling and you're finding it hard to sit down with your reflection, find a buddy, find a mentor. When we face the hard things, the trick is to do them more often, not less, and we are never alone. And lastly, please write down your answers, especially for the what did I achieve question. Your future self will thank you. Okay, we're done. Okay, we're not done. Honestly, if that was all you took away today, and then you actually did it, that would be a bloody success. This is the foundation, and when you nail it, it supercharges everything else. And I'd love to hear your success. Hit me up in a few months if you are doing this and have reached this stage. But since we still have a bit more time, we're going to move on to stage 2. So we've created a continuous check-in and improvement cycle. This is great for keeping you on track and honest with yourself. But on track to where? I promised you today that we're going to supercharge your career. And to do that, you need to have an idea what you want from your career. I know this one daunts a lot of people, and I can hear some of you in the room already going, but I don't know where I want to be. And to that, I say, don't panic, let's break it down. I could spend 20 minutes just on this section alone, but I don't have time. I've attached some more in-depth worksheets into this exercise in the resource book at the end. But at its core, to build a map, you need to know where you are, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. So where am I now? To most people, this just means their current role. But to you, my peeps, it is so much more than that. It is sitting down, looking around you, and looking at yourself, and being able to describe yourself. What are you good at? What do you like doing? Don't jump ahead at this stage into what you want to do. Just sit down and look at the current state of things. How long have you been in your current role? What have you been learning and working on? What tasks do you most pick up? What do you really enjoy? Take the time and build a skills and passion map, an exercise of listing your skills, your examples, your demonstration of it, and then getting out the highlighter and marking up the ones that really lift you up and be excited. Great, we know where we are. Where are we going? Well, I did say where next, and for each of you in the room, that's going to be different, and I can't answer that for you. Hopefully with that skills and passion map exercise that you would have just completed, you'd have an idea, and that would start to feed into it. Where are the gaps? Where are you developing in? Are you stalled? Do you want to explore something new? Are you figuring out how to get that next promotion? This isn't an exercise that you have to do alone. Get feedback, be curious, go out and explore what others are doing. This doesn't have to be I must know where I am going to be in 5 years. You need to have the potential next steps to start exploring. And I see a lot of people simply let where next happen to them at the whims of their organisations, their managers and their teams. Get intentional about it. Make your next steps your own. I am so sorry I had to go over that fast, but we really want to keep going and get you guys to lunch. But when you know where you are, when you know where you want to go next, you can then start to have an inkling on how you're going to get there. Build up those personal development goals. There are so many goal-setting frameworks out there. Pick one. If you don't have one, use the SMART one. It is a great place to start. Then keep iterating on it. Please focus on those concrete actions. These are the ones that take you from where you are to where you want to go. So now we have a career map. How do we keep on track? Well, we take what we learnt in step 1 and we apply it. So now we're well into the future and we have built up our continuous check-in habit. We have built our career map and plan. Now it is time to add a new check-in, a continuous improvement, people. Do this in line with your other check-in. Make it easy. Always pick easy for these things. Every 3rd or 4th continuous improvement check-in, add some extra time into it. If you're doing it fortnightly, this is every 6 to 8 weeks. Add an extra 10 minutes, and we have some new questions to ask ourselves. This check-in is 25 minutes in total. It is less than half an hour, and you are answering your previous 5 questions plus these 3 new ones. This step is about regularly checking in on your goals, keeping them front in mind, and making sure they still matter. Adjust the frequency that works for you, though honestly, I would not suggest making it longer than 8 weeks because you want to be continuously checking in on your goals and progress and adjusting. Consistency and small steps are the key. The number of times I see people with old goals lingering around that they hold on to out of guilt, fear of failure. Don't do that. If it no longer fits, ditch it. Learn, adapt, grow. This means at times changing your plans or in completely changing your direction as you learn new things. It's okay. This is a great activity to do with your mentor or a buddy. I shoot mine through to my mentor before our next catch-up. It helps keep me honest and on track. This is not mandatory, it's just a trick to try. Remember though, your mentor is there to guide and support you. You have to do the work. The point of these check-ins is to measure and adjust. I see a lot of people again starting to skip this because they aren't happy with their progress towards their goals. The point of these check-ins are to keep us on track. Skipping or sticking with unworkable goals is just setting ourselves up for failure. Keep being curious, keep adjusting, keep finding a way to apply this continuous improvement to your everyday life. Oh, and if I need to say it by now, write it down. Your future self will thank you. While regular check-ins are the foundation of your continuous improvement, your goals and checking in on it are the powerhouse of your self-development. You are now regularly, consistently setting and adjusting your goals. You're measuring, you're adapting your ways of working, you're checking in with yourself. You have the foundations and the drive to supercharge your career with continuous improvement. Next step, getting help and support. So far, we've been talking about what you can do. We've been building the habits, routines, and attitudes. We probably haven't been doing this in isolation, but we've intentionally started by focusing on the area that we have a lot of control over ourselves, because we are at the center of our own success. But our organizations can help us with that growth, and our growth helps our organizations deliver. When I'm talking about organizational support, I usually mean time, budget, conference tickets, books, courses, or opportunities, secondments into other areas, shadowing someone to gain exposure or experience, the chance to work on an aligned project. It is so much easier to get support if you're asking with a well-defined request. But leave no doubt in anyone's mind, you will succeed with or without them. But gosh, it is so much easier to get time, money, opportunities when it aligns with your company's strategic goal or mission. To do that, you need to know what they are trying to achieve. You are growing your customers, you are launching, are they growing getting new customers? Are they launching a new product offering? Are they reducing costs? Are they going through a transformation? Find out what's happening in your organization and the lay of the land. Where do you find that? Strategy documents, one-on-ones, skip meetings, other departments, water cooler conversations. Check what is actually being prioritized and picked up in your backlog. Chat with your peers, who's getting training, what in, how did they get it? Gather as much information as you can so you can frame your requests in the best possible way. There should be no doubt on how it aligns to the company goals, what it's going to cost in terms of time and money, if any, and then the actual concrete gain for the company. Be clear. Don't just go in with a generic ask like, can I get a DDD? If you want to make sure they know why, what's in it for the company. I'll often even go and highlight the exact talks that I am keen to see, how it aligns to an upcoming project. Be absolutely clear on what it costs in terms of time or money. In this case, it would be money, not time. I might even say, hey, I'm going to do a lunch and learn afterwards to bring those concepts back to the organization. Make sure that you're very clear on this. However, even if you have the perfect request, be prepared for a no and be okay with that. There could be a million reasons. They could be short on budget. There's a crunch in delivery time. Make sure you understand the why not and what it would take for them to say yes to this request. Not all no's are created equal. There is the no, never, we don't support those fancy learning ideas in this organization, or the gosh, no, that sounds amazing. We just can't right now for why reasons. But let's find a different way to get that growth that you're after. Don't fear though, when the organizations resist, there are other ways. A no is not the end of your growth journey. There are so many ways to go. When I say community, I mean meetups, conference videos on YouTube, books, articles, book clubs, free online resources, networks. There are so many options. If you can't get a company ticket to that big fancy conference, submit a talk. Volunteer to help out. Don't let a company no be your barrier to trying. Self-funded. Trust me, I know that the company benefits from your growth and development, but so do you. Don't neglect on investing in yourself, whether it's time or money. If you've sat down and worked out the win for you, and that win is bigger than the cost, and you can afford it, then do it. This is your future that you're investing in. If you got company support and you want them to keep supporting you, make sure the company or manager gets the win that you promised. Let them see that their investment is paying off. If you promised a lunch and learn or a write a wiki, please just do it and make sure that they know you did it. Make sure they see the value that they got from that. All right, so our company has supported our learning or not, and we are supercharging our growth. We add another check-in. Now this is about applying those learnings. You've been improving yourself and now it is time to increase your scope of impact in your day-to-day work. This is what sets people apart on their career journey. Those who find a way to apply their learnings and improve their team, their product, their company. And again, don't forget, write it down. Write those impacts that you're having in the organization. Your future self will thank you. So now we've unlocked organizational support and we are back applying our learnings and we're increasing our scope of impact at work. It is time to move on to the final stage, visibility. This step is going to look different for different people in different organizations. And again, you're going to find your own way here. But remember, I've been telling you to write it down all the way through. This is why. It's to make your annual review, your promotion round, when it comes around, is to make it easier. You're supplying all of the evidence of this growth, development, and increased impact. But this isn't an annual activity. You should be talking about growth with your manager in your one-on-ones, asking questions for their input, making sure they seeing you increase your effectiveness. Keep increasing your scope of impact. There is so much more we could go into, but I'm really low on time. But one of the best ways you can show that you are leveling up is to be generous. Be generous, share what you've learned, share the opportunities that you've seen, bring information back to your team and new ideas, coach others, support other teams, be the person who sees opportunities for others to grow. My peeps, keep listening, be curious, ask questions, and ultimately share and support your team, your organisation, your community, and society. So that was our last stage. We are making our progress visible and appreciated by others. You might ask, why do I need to be visible? Because if others don't know our strength, how do they know how we can help them? Let's close this out. This is what we have built together today in 20 minutes. I know it is a lot, but it starts with a single step and then another and then another. Continuously improving bit by bit, developing ourselves, crafting our best self. My peeps, we're in charge of our careers. We're in the driver's seat. Thank you all for coming along this journey with me. I've wrapped most of this up into a workbook, and my contact info is up there. Please come and shoot me a question, or come find me during the day. I'll be over at the Collider booth. I love talking about this stuff. Go forth, enjoy lunch.